Oh,
You're telling me
chomp at the bit is a variation, but
no, the expression is chomping at the bit.
I'm pretty sure the expression is
for the
champing
record,
at
by the
bit.
way, did you know that it's eat your cake and have it too, not have your cake and eat it too?
That
Oh,
blows
really?
my mind.
Yes.
Oh, we're live.
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah.
Here we're discussing old sayings on Switchcast, the warm-up round. This all started because so many people were waiting in the chat to watch us live, and we appreciate you. And we couldn't determine, we were having an argument whether it was chomping at the bit or champing at the bit.
Show us in
Boy,
chat
if that's
what
an
you think
argument
it
for
is,
us,
yeah.
I think we're doing pretty all right.
Conflict
That was more of a
resolution's
casual
great.
conversation.
It's a very high-level
It's as heated as it gets
semantic.
around here.
No, I don't
yes.
think so.
It's scary how well you do that. Okay, on topic. Welcome back to Switchcast Live. I'm your host, Doug Tabbitt, founder of Switch Cars, Cannonball Run record holder, and Switchcast is the automotive-related podcast where we are searching for truth and humor in the car industry. Gonna fire my staff who put a phone out here in the lunchroom / podcast studio.
So great.
Somebody
we're
take
not
that
taking the
and
call
somebody
this
put
week.
it out. No, we're not taking the call this week. That was actually, I mean,
That
we
made
did-
it.
We
onto
did
the,
start out as a call-in show, and then
unintentionally
we-
become a comment show now.
we've unintentionally come full circle. Maybe we should just leave that there, and that'll be our thing. Like, a customer calls in.
We put it into the episode.
Guarantee
last
you that's
week,
like a
so.
listener that found your number online. It's like, all right, as soon as they
No,
start.
it wasn't. It
Well,
was,
no. The one that just called.
Oh, I don't know. You can look at the number and reverse.
Okay, I
search
can
it or
like
something.
dox somebody.
Anyway.
You gotta be careful.
Exciting times here already. Yeah, we might be able to work that in the future. I'm going to be struggling with my mic stand here all night. Okay, well, Switchcast is the automotive-related podcast where we're searching for truth and humor in the car industry. If it ain't true, it better be funny. Tonight, we have some exciting news. There's been a number of articles about EVs that we want to discuss, but we don't want to beat a dead horse before it needs recharged. That's an EV joke. Nobody got it.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
preparing for the pod for the discussions.
We're
about to
working
have.
over
Right.
here.
But we do have some other things that we need to touch on first, and one of them is there is a new Cannonball record. This is a very, very important Cannonball record, but because this is a show, we're going to tease that right off the bat and come back to it.
I'm excited to learn. I've refrained from asking you what the heck is going on until tonight, so I can learn.
Right. This is, this is exciting. Very exciting. However, we want to start out like we did last week with a couple of our segments that are usually deeper into the episode just to change things up. And we're going to start out with the appraiser, which used to be Tyler and I guessing about the values of cars coming up on auction, but has kind of evolved a little bit. And this week we're covering a couple things that happened on auctions because we like evaluating different auction platforms and things that go on because, man, the car business is exciting. Every week there's something that goes wrong or right or sideways or whatever. And on the EV topic that we aren't getting to yet, but there was a Rolls-Royce Spectre launch edition on Bring a Trailer. Now, this is the first one to publicly sell, and that's important. The Rolls-Royce Spectre is their new big body, super highfalutin, full electric Rolls-Royce. I believe it is Rolls-Royce's first full electric vehicle, and it was came to much hype. People were chomping at the bit.
We do
to
have
receive it.
live stats right here. We've got 3 responses, and 2 of them are chomping, and 1 of them is champing. So I don't know if our audience is a representative sample, but I'll keep tallying.
Well, correct grammar is not a democracy anyway, but I'm glad that we're winning. So, yeah, it's 500-600 horsepower, gobs and gobs of torque. It has about a 250-mile range, which is not ideal for any vehicle. But as somebody pointed out, people driving their Rolls-Royce Spectres are likely not going on long road trips. But what made it interesting is that the Rolls-Royce CEO came out before the Spectre was delivered and said, if anyone flips one of these, not like rolls it over, but resells it, they will be banned for life from buying a Rolls-Royce, which is a very bold statement, right? Ferrari can make those kind of statements because they pretty much have a built-in lifetime customer base, but Rolls-Royce is seemingly one of those companies always flirting with insolvency or something like that. So multiple buyouts and different ownerships over the years. A lot of boutique luxury car makers are struggling with that at any given point. Aston Martin has struggled with it immensely. So it's not something as a CEO I think I would ever want to say to my customers, like, well, if you decide you sell it too soon, then you just can't ever buy one anymore. I'd say, no, we'll take you back. You can buy as many cars as you want. But I think it's also a marketing ploy for some people to create demand. It's like putting a line outside of your nightclub. If you can't come in, then people want to come in. So if you can't resell the car, then people think, oh, man, this must be a great car, and it's going to go for way over sticker, which the sticker price, by the way, is an eye-watering $500,000 with any reasonable amount of options. It starts at $440,000, but a color-keyed umbrella is $1,700.
Does it also do your taxes while shielding you from the rain? That is excessive.
It should do a lot more than that because I think TurboTax is like $50. So, but that would be funny because it would be a tax shelter.
Ew, that wasn't even on purpose. That was
no,
good.
It wasn't. Well, if you could write off the umbrella, it would be a tax shelter. Anyway. We're really reaching tonight. However, this dealer listed it with 99 miles on Bring a Trailer. And, of course, everybody's saying, oh, man, you're going to get a lifetime ban from Rolls-Royce. I don't think the dealer cared. I don't think they were the ones that even ordered the thing new. So somebody got banned. But the interesting thing that I found was in searching the Rolls-Royce Spectres, this car was listed on other sites for $540,000 while the auction was happening. Does that matter? Yes, it does. One, it's patently against Bring a Trailer rules because if you are auctioning a car on their platform, it is an exclusive listing. You cannot have the car for sale anywhere else. And people have gotten banned in the past for not following those rules or selling it during the course of the auction. And rightly so. They want to protect the integrity of the auction. If people are bidding, they want to know that they're bidding on a car that actually can be bought. But the odd thing was it was listed with a different VIN number. But in searching the photos, the sill plate had the same VIN number as the one in the auction, and the odometer photo had the same mileage, same temperature, same like it was the same car. So I brought this up. Seller never responded, and somebody else said, well, that may be like a scam listing, right? A lot of people do that. They'll create a fake dealer online, get a cars.com or an Auto Trader account, and list a bunch of cars at slightly below market value and then scam people. So I said, oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. This is listed by a different dealer, but it's using all of the same seller from Bring a Trailers. Like they have their like watermark on the photo, their frame that has their company name and their phone number and everything. All that was on there. So it's like, all right, this is weird. So the company that had it listed on this other site for $540K during the auction was a salvage dealer. But if you followed their parent company, it was an exotic car rental company, and the exotic car rental company used the same logo as this other site that also had the car listed, that when you followed their link, it went back to the seller's website on Bring a Trailer. So there's like 4 different companies all using the same logo, but listing this different Rolls-Royce, but it was the same one just with a different VIN. I'm getting a little bit into the weeds here. However, it was all kind of real scammy, scummy, because they were trying to basically hide that they were selling this car somewhere else just by using a different VIN. But it was the same car, and listing it under a different company, but it was the same company. Sure enough, all of those shenanigans tanked the auction, and the high bid Let's see. The MSRP is $520,000. Remember, the Rolls-Royce CEO said no flipping, can't sell for over sticker. Well, it only got bid to $451,000.
Ooh.
So, proof that flippers don't make the market makes the market. The market spoke and it said, we don't care about the newest EV Rolls-Royce. And it didn't even get bid to sticker. And probably the best comment on the auction was, remember, this was a Rolls-Royce Spectre Launch Edition. The best comment after the womp womp of the reserve not met was Rolls-Royce Spectre failure to launch package.
Oh.
I like that.
Did you see the dock fee?
Yes, $2,000.
What are they doing? How many documents can there be?
Hank would have an aneurysm. He could buy a car for $2,000. Listen, I have defended dock fees forever. They have their place. But a $2,000 dock fee is insanity.
Gosh.
Be reasonable. Have it cover your costs of doing title work for the customer.
Not like that is purely just profit. Unless
Oh,
the title is as big as the car and it just takes you that much work to fill it out.
It's Florida. Florida dealers all have massive dock fees.
Oh, weird.
It's crazy. Ours is $250, and that covers titling, license plates, temp tag, and all the wire fees and UPS and the people who want to put $5,000 on their credit card so they can get airline miles and all this crap. You know, it's just everything else gets negotiated, so the dock fee is the way of the dealer protecting, like, okay, these are our transactional costs. You can't negotiate these out. Somebody tried, though.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh, yes.
Who the heck comes here and buys something here and tries to negotiate away $250?
Well, we're skipping to our wall of shame, but this is our wall of shame.
What?
Here we go. The wall of shame is the dealer's opportunity to make fun of customers who deserve to get negative reviews on Yelp, but you can't review a customer. So here we go. A customer was interested in a 1954 Austin Healey that we have, and it was listed for a very fair price, and I'll spare you all the details, but he negotiated down a few grand, and we agreed on a price. We then, and we had told him about the dock fee, as far as I know. It's $250, right? $41,000 plus $250 for the dock fee. Well, Mr. Austin Healey curmudgeon lost his mind at the dock fee and said, well, if you pay my sales tax, I'll pay your dock fee.
Hold on a second. That doesn't math.
No, it doesn't. Sales tax is more than 10 times as much as the dock fee. So we're like, no, you're out. Bye-bye, not buying the car.
Wow.
Thankfully, because the next week, an identical twin to our car, same year, same color, same condition, same restoration history, same length of ownership history. Like, you couldn't find two more exact classic cars if you went back to the factory. It sold for, so remember we had a deal agreed on with this guy, $41,000 plus dock fee. Sold for $58,000 on Bring a Trailer.
Whoa.
So we're like, all right, well, screw this. We underpriced our car. Happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the longer you have the car, the more it's worth. So we raise the price everywhere, keep up with market, and then we're like, screw it. Let's just run out and Bring a Trailer because, you know, maybe that's the best place to find the money for this particular car. Within 1 day of that happening, we get a credit card deposit for a car. And I'm like, wonder what this is. I went into our merchant account and read the notes on the transaction that the customer had entered. And he put in quotes what he had been told verbally. And this was like 3 weeks ago that he bailed on the deal because of the dock fee.
Oh, so the same guy.
The same guy, sorry for not being clear, the same guy still had the credit card link for deposit. So he sends in a deposit for the 1954 Austin Healey and then puts in quotes, the $1,000 will go towards the purchase of the car and be on the invoice. We do have a $250 dock fee, so the total out the door price will be $41,250. He's basically like quoting what our sales guy told him verbally on the phone as a contractual agreement with this deposit. on a deal he
Amazing.
bailed on 3 weeks ago because of a $250 dock fee. And then when we raised the price $10,000 to keep up with the market, he's like, "Oh no, I'll take it."
Amazing.
Within 10 minutes, I canceled his payment. I'm like, "Nope, you missed out."
Rejected.
It's not always that we win based on having a car too long, but every now and then it happens. Usually it's the other way around. We have plenty of price reductions in the last week. That's market, but
this
this one was
reading some guy trying to give you mad crap for lowering the price on the white 997 GT3 out there. That was ridiculous.
Yes, well, we're just keeping up with market.
Goodness.
Raise or lower. Sometimes either one works. Yes.
Alrighty, to wrap that up, Switchcast is brought to you by Boxcast. Boxcast is a live streaming company based in Cleveland, Ohio, and they serve broadcasters and viewers around the world. Their founders launched Boxcast back in 2013 with one purpose: to make people a part of the experience. So if you're looking to live stream your podcast, church service, car show, sporting event, wedding, or even your Cannonball attempt, Boxcast is an easy and flexible live streaming platform for organizations. Boxcast is so easy, in fact, that we're broadcasting this show with a phone. So head on over to switchcars.com/Boxcast for your free trial. And with that said, we've got Hank, the Corvette curmudgeon, back in studio with us. How are you doing, Hank?
I'm okay. It was pretty nice out today and sunny.
It was.
I went out and looked at my Corvette. I thought real hard about driving it, but there might have been a little bit of salt dust still on the roads from a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So I just wiped her down with a chamois cloth and looked at it.
What's this jacket situation you got going on?
Well, it's a little cold out, so I'm wearing my Heartbeat of America jacket.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that didn't listen last week, Hank and I had a bit of a kerfuffle, I guess. He was attacking my person. Ethan, did you have... I think you mentioned you had some stuff you wanted to talk to Hank about tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was hoping to do this off camera. Hank, thank you for being here. But typically you got like a Winston hat on, but I noticed we changed the hat up this week. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got a new hat this week.
Yeah, right. So
it's election year coming up, so
I know, and you and I and Tyler, and we all have a lot of thoughts on it. But I was listening back to the episode last week, and we kind of got off the beaten path there a little bit with some thoughts and opinion. And I mean, we try to keep it light and keep politics and things like that out of it. So that was really all I wanted to say. Just be conscious of that.
So you're saying the First Amendment doesn't apply here?
Well, I'm not gonna go so far as to say that. So much as just we're trying to appeal to a number of people from various demographics, and we just kind of got to keep that.
Are you concerned about the snowflakes' feelings?
Well,
I'm not.
I understand that. And,
he's obviously not concerned about my feelings.
Well, yeah, because you're one of them snowflakes,
Well, I'm sorry if you get your feelings hurt because you bought a car that the Chinese owned.
See, this is the stuff that I'm talking about here. I mean, we don't need to mention, the nations and everything. We're here to talk about cars.
Well, he's got a car that's made by the Chinese. I just figured he wanted to support America.
No, that's true. Yeah, the facts don't care about your feelings or whatever.
Yeah, darn
true.
right.
But anyway, that was all I wanted to say. Just kind of.
So you're telling me I can't say what I want to say?
Well, there's such a thing as like cancel culture is very real. In this
like the FCC.
Like the FCC, yeah, right. So what those guys do to TV, right? That governing body there.
Well, but they just say you can't say swear words and stuff like that, which I agree with. You shouldn't be profane.
Yeah.
But beyond that, First Amendment applies. Should anyway.
Should, yeah. I don't know. I might need to run this by Doug and get his thoughts on it all. But that was all I wanted to say. I was hoping to do it off air, Tyler. But
Wow, he's throwing me under the bus.
Well, anyway, that was all I wanted to say. Hank, no offense to you or anybody, but
I don't take offense to anything unless you call my Corvette ugly.
Well, I wouldn't dream.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
You just said don't be profane. I would never say something of that nature.
I do think, I guess, to lighten things back up here a little bit now that we've got the legal mumbo jumbo out of the way. Hank, last week we talked about your first appearance on TikTok in that talking about that orange C6 ZR1. I saw it come up on Instagram this week, and it really it went a little viral.
That was a nice car.
Yeah.
Be nice if I could afford something like that.
I mean, it was a gorgeous car, and I love the color. And, there's lots of comments. Have you seen any of the comments?
No, I don't know how to get on them appetizer things on the phone.
I think appetizers, interesting. I think a lot of the comments are pretty positive, but there's quite a few in here, Hank, that are saying that you are wrong.
Them snowflakes again, probably.
It's something about this isn't the first ZR1. Did you say it was the first ZR1?
Yeah, the first C6 ZR1. But, they told me I got to talk in less than 2 minutes for the whole thing. And so, you leave out some of the finer points trying to be tight there and get everything in. And, they're paying me, so I did what they told me to do.
Well, I think, it's probably best that you can't read the comments because I think you did a fantastic job. And, there are just a lot of haters out there.
What are some of these morons saying, huh?
Well, I've just seen a few that are like, that
I'm
not
sure
the first
they're
year of the
ignorant
ZR1.
They don't know nothing about Corvettes. I'm sorry, what was that?
There's been 3 that I've scrolled past so far that are like not the first year of the ZR1.
Well, no kidding.
First year, question mark?
No kidding. They think I'm ignorant or something.
I think so. Some folks are in here complaining about the price, but that's not your problem. Everyone forgets the ZR1 CR4 or C4. Do you think everybody forgets the C4 ZR1?
No. But that person doesn't even know that wasn't the first ZR1. Does he think that was the first ZR1?
I don't know. Here's another one. C3 and C4 ZR1s looking at this first ZR1 in quotes confused.
Well, that guy knows what he's talking about because the C3 was the first ZR1.
Was
in
there
1970, it was the first ZR1. Absolutely. It was a lightweight package, and it was the first year that they put the 350 LT1 engine in a Corvette. It was actually less horsepower than the L88, but they stripped out all the superfluous stuff, air conditioning and power windows, and it was a real racehorse. It was great around the track. It was very, very rare. I'd actually like to have one of those. It's almost as rare as my Corvette.
But yours is still a little bit rare.
Well, they made less in my color and option combo than they did of the 1970
gotcha.
ZR1.
Well, hopefully Doug and Ethan will have you back the next time there's a pretty spicy Corvette here in stock.
I'd like to. I sure like that cash.
He's talking a lot about how much he's paid. He's making me a little jealous, Ethan. Maybe we should talk about that offline.
He got a big old check in the mail off that video.
Alrighty, well,
I got paid cash too. Margaret doesn't have to know about it.
That's good. Nor
Smart. Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Right.
Alrighty, Hank, thanks for coming down again. Everybody, that was the Corvette Curmudgeon, brought to you unwittingly by the Corvette Buy-Sell Trade Group on Facebook. That is your source for cranky boomers, overpriced Corvettes, and reinforced stereotypes. Boy, Ethan, Hank really kind of put you into a corner there. You were fighting for your life.
I was just trying to be, as politically correct as we can be. Because, if there's one thing we are on this show, it's politically
Absolutely.
correct. Yeah.
So... Speaking of Hank.
Yes. Welcome back, Doug.
I was excited that somebody offered us, you and me, free admission to the Corvette Museum if we ever wanted to go visit.
Oh, really? Where did I
apparently
didn't know
Hank
this?
is popular down there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because the employees of the museum have to deal with Hanks all the time. So they love parodies. But there is a 30th anniversary event coming up.
30th anniversary
fall.
Of what?
The Corvette Museum.
Oh.
And apparently it's a big pilgrimage for Corvette people. There's expected to be 6,000 to 8,000 rare Corvettes there.
Rare.
Wow.
Right.
Sounds like something I could use a 98 pace car for.
Of the
In an
Hanks
incredible twist of irony, I've been asked to go speak there.
Have you really?
Yes.
What? Wait, you or Hank?
That's what we're trying to clarify.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, "What? Who do you want?"
Yeah. Which one of me? There's a couple. Honestly, I would like to see the Corvette Museum just to say that I've gone, but
You haven't gone?
I've never been.
It's
I've
awesome.
driven past it probably 4 times.
Well, now you have a standing invitation.
I guess I
sounds
do.
like.
I
Yeah.
really want to see that C5R street car, like the only one that exists.
Oh,
that is the
yes.
only thing that I
I
really,
want
really
to
want
own
to see.
that. That's
Well,
like the
yes.
ultimate Corvette for me.
Do you think they'll let Hank take it for a
That
spin?
is my Corvette. It's best Corvette.
Oh, so good.
Oh, gosh. Oh, so I forgot about this. Kind of ties into Shrewd Negotiator, but one of the auction things I wanted to touch on as well in terms of like learning lessons of how we should do what we do. And if you're trying to sell your car or buy a car, what's the best course of action? And I've spoken a lot about the online auctions versus the physical auctions and how they're just a far better value proposition. And this follows from the Corvette curmudgeon. The Corvette curmudgeons of this world are dead set on sending their cars to auctions like Barrett-Jackson and Mecum because, oh, man, look, they set a record for this
All the glitz and
1970
glam.
ZR1. So I'm going to send my nothing Corvette C5 there. And some unfortunate Corvette curmudgeon found out that this is not the best way to go. And it really isn't. They're selling thousands of cars that week. It's like a 6 or 7 day auction run. So you can't have every car set records, and there's times when people are exhausted and not there, and the cameras aren't in the room, and nobody cares. And sure enough, a friend of mine scored a 2000 Corvette C5, clean Carfax, 65,000 miles, and he bought it for $9,500.
What?
What?
That's
is
it?
right. It's a $15,000 car.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
that means the seller net a little bit over $7,000 after all the
Oh,
stuff.
man.
So he took a 50% haircut to sell his car on TV.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Was there anything like special about it? Like, interesting color, like, or just
No,
kind of
it's
pretty?
pewter.
Ugh.
But that's a $15,000 car all day. All day.
That's
But that
crazy.
guy's, no, I'm going to sell my car to Barrett-Jackson. He probably told a dealer that he wasn't going to sell it to him. Are you lowballers? I'm not selling it for a penny less than $12,000. And he takes $7,000.
Oh, that hurts.
It's why Barrett-Jackson serves alcohol. It's one, to fuel the bidding, and other, so Hanks can cry in their light beer.
Oh, man.
I don't understand why people do that. The auctions are great if the physical auctions are great if you have the right car, special car, unique car, and the right run time. You got to negotiate for Friday evening, Saturday evening, something like that. And man, don't send your Corvette C5 automatic
Oh, it was an auto, too?
to Barrett-Jackson. Why would you do that?
Well,
You
it's-
put it on the dang Corvette buy sell trade page where everybody's looking for one with a clean title for $10,000.
Oh.
So
Well, I think you touched on it last week. It's just there's all of the glitz and glam, and they're like essentially an advertising company, kind of, because it's
Yep.
this whole event. There's all these TV shows. And, I know plenty of people who love to sit there and watch those events because they like to see all the cars. And, they're like, oh, look at what this went for. And it's kind of similar to what we do on Bring a Trailer, but like just a different generation,
Right.
different vibe.
but you're like at the bar watching it, but it's the cars are going across.
I mean, I would like to go just for that. Give me a drink. Let me see all these cool cars. Good to go. That's what we
Yeah.
do at like Amelia and stuff. Is we just hang out.
Super fun,
But-
as a spectator,
Yeah, I could not imagine. I would never send any of my cars to an auction like that.
right?
Ugh.
I've bought more cars at those types of auctions than I have sold, if that says anything. Yes, you can get some crazy money for some, but you can also not. So, speaking of, again, negotiation and how to get the most bang for your buck in buying or selling, we're covering the Shrewd Negotiator. And this week we had so many good, so many epically shrewd negotiations, attempts anyway. The first place, no, we're going to go, we got to do the best. You got to go third place to first place.
Okay.
So in third place of all the ones submitted to us this week, this one comes from the My Car is Fully Loaded, Has Every Option book, which
Beautiful.
always means it doesn't. It was a 997.2 Turbo S Coupe, and his description says, very highly optioned with heated seats. It's like $400. Every Jeep has them. Sport chrono, that's fine. White stitching.
Deviated stitching.
Bose premium sound, just standard on the turbo. Center lock wheels, which is standard on the turbo. Carbon ceramic brakes, which is standard on the Turbo S. So he listed 3 actual options and 3 standard things to say it's very highly optioned.
Was there a bunch of now? Okay, this is excluding.
Next it was etc.
Oh, etc. Gotcha. The coverage is real blanket.
Right.
Now I know there's a bunch of exclusive manufacturer stuff you can do, but like standard options, there couldn't have been that many on a Turbo S.
Or like not
Or
standard.
like
non-standard.
yeah.
Added
Normal
cost
options, I guess.
No, you could go crazy. On the turbos and Turbo S's, they made a lot of things standard that were optional on lower models. So Bose and full leather and a bunch of stuff like that was all standard. And on the S, carbon ceramic brakes were standard. But you could still go crazy.
Oh, okay.
You can do individual leather bits on, the key surround and the vent surround, and you could do the vent slats in leather.
Oh.
You can go nuts. Plus, you can do the CXX Special Wishes stuff.
Gotcha.
And do things in different colors or whatever. So, yeah, you can option them up.
Gotcha.
But that's exactly why when somebody says, like, oh, it has heated seats and stitching, it's got every option.
Fully loaded.
No. You started. You got on the first page of the option sheet. Anyway, so Tyler, take it away with our second place contender.
All right, the second one comes to us from Facebook Marketplace. This is a 1989 Pontiac Firebird.
It's actually not.
Oh well, I'm just
I know.
looking at my notes.
Look at the photo. It's like
I don't have the photo.
Something. Okay, well, he listed as the wrong year. He's off to a great start.
Okay, description. Runs, drives, needs finished, brakes first thing, no hood, no gas tank, original miles, clean car, title numbers matching, 3500 OBO, trades welcome, Harleys, 2-stroke, dirt bikes, what you got, HMU. There was no punctuation in there. I'm
Boomer talk for hit me up.
sorry. Yeah. Like,
okay.
I like brakes first thing. I think that's my favorite part of that is it doesn't have a hood or a gas tank, but you got to do the brakes.
How does it run and drive if it doesn't have a gas tank?
You just got like a hose into the injectors, just like pouring it from a
gas
gallon
can over the roof, like when he rolls
Gravity
it down the
fed.
driveway, and it doesn't have brakes. I'm really so. I have so many questions,
but it's numbers matching, Doug.
That's a dubious claim for a car like this. I love when people say that on a car that there's no possible way to verify that. A $3,500 Project 70s Firebird that we don't even know if it has an engine, but he claims it runs and drives, and you want me to believe him that it's numbers matching?
Which all that really means is all the body panels are there except for the hood. But it's like engine transmission is when people say numbers matching, they mean like engine and transmission belong to this VIN, right? For the most part?
Yes. Yes, but that doesn't mean they're the same number.
But they belong to that
that
car.
is what was produced. That's what it came with from the factory. That's what they put in at the factory. There was literally only one picture of this car, and it was like the rear half of the passenger side door and half of the rear quarter and like 3/4 of the wheel. It was just like that, and that was it. And it looked like it was finished in like the skim coat primer.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Needs finished.
It's the thing that hides all sins. I bought a car, a '68 Firebird, back long time ago. Totally got shrewdly negotiated, and I'm having like flashbacks to that because that was finished in the skim coat primer and had the steely wheels just like this, which screams like I started a project and can't finish it and I'm hiding everything. And it had a 350 V8 that was dropped in it, and I bought it on eBay, and I got the car, and I realized that they had literally just dropped it in. The chains from the engine hoist were still around the V8.
What?
They had just like put it in, and it was resting on the frame cross member.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sketch. Was it even bolted to anything or just sitting there?
Nope.
Nice.
Just sitting there. All right.
Asphalt Serpent on YouTube said the dirt bike is legal tender on Facebook Marketplace, which I appreciate. They need to add an option for like, okay, $3,500 or how many dirt bikes are you looking for to make this deal happen?
That's great. Oh man, needs finished. Yeah, it needs started. All right. Number one Shrewd Negotiator of the week.
I'm excited.
I know. We should have a commercial first.
Alrighty. This will be brought to you by Nuts for Sticks. Nuts for Sticks is a brand celebrating the manual transmission in all its forms. So forget the flappy paddles because we like shifting ourselves. Check out our fun and funny stick-themed shirts at nutsforsticks.com and save 10% on your order using the discount code SWITCHCAST. That is nutsforsticks.com and use code SWITCHCAST.
And I do want to mention that we have a brand new T-shirt design, a new Switch Cars logo, which is a hint of our new website coming.
Oh.
We also have Keep Your Woman But Switch Cars shirts back in stock. We sold out twice, but they are back. So tell your wife to get one for you for Valentine's Day. It is implicit permission for you to buy whatever car you want. So it's a solid investment. $20 for a T-shirt, and it's a hall pass.
The car hall pass, the best thing.
Right, right. And then we have crazy discounts on clearance of our old stock. So get on there, get some swag. All right, our number one Shrewd Negotiator this week. This is a real inquiry. Shared with permission. I did pull this from a private dealer discussion page, but so I don't get banned from there, I did get permission from the poster to use this. This was an actual inquiry he got, unsurprisingly, on a new Ram 1500. I can't even.
I'm so ready for this. This is going to be good.
I can't even.
Maybe we should have done the commercial break here while Doug gets it out of his system. He gets a har.
Nah, it's so good. I can keep a straight face for Hank, but I can't read this crap. Quote, I got a lion in the cage. He's already broke out and been on the news and everything, but I'm have him concealed now. I told to put him down, but he's over $100,000 and I got to get something for my buck. Can I do a trade?
What the heck is any of that? I thought they were talking about a wild animal at one point.
They are.
Yeah, they
What?
are. Wait, they
He
are.
sent a photo
What?
of a lion in the cage. This Joe Exotic is trying to get a new truck.
Oh my God.
Wait, so
Try to keep up, Ethan.
yeah, that's just I can't. That's just absolutely preposterous.
So he tried to. So was this to like this was to a dealer of some kind?
Yes.
So he tried to say, "I've got a lion."
Yep.
And-
He's already broken
He
out of the
did say
cage
that,
once.
yeah.
It was on the news.
Which I appreciate the
it's
honesty.
a famous line. It's been on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous. It's got he's got
Right.
he's got clout.
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty that hey, he probably knows how to get out. Cats are pretty smart. And figure his way out, but it'll be fine. And then he wants to trade that in this lion, this living thing
That he paid over $100,000 for.
Oh my God, who had? Oh, I thought that was the price of the truck. He paid $100,000 for a cat.
A big cat.
A real big cat.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have that kind of money to spend on a cat, what the heck are you doing trying to negotiate on a truck? Unless that was
I
all
don't
your
know
money.
if he was negotiating. He was just trying to trade. That guy's never going to financially recover from that.
Oh my God.
Dan gets
Nice.
it. Yeah, I think though when I didn't check the news article, but I'm pretty sure when the lion broke out, he went down Main Street.
I'm not even going to give that an AO. We're just going to leave that.
It's not.
Oh yes.
God, making me not be able to breathe over here.
If you like this show still, if you're still listening, please leave us a review, 5-star only. If you don't like it, then just stop listening. But yes, please leave us a review wherever you are listening to the podcast, especially on those audio platforms. It helps out the algorithm. Share it with your friends. If you don't like the show, share it with your enemies and don't waste their time. We very, very much appreciate it. It all helps. We have been growing, and we know that is due to you guys and, of course, Ethan.
And
all right.
Tyler and you and everyone who comes.
Right. But we could be the awesomest show in on the planet, and if nobody shares and helps out the algorithms, nobody will find us. So, and we appreciate the kind feedback as well. We've gotten some really, really great notes and stuff like that. So that's always encouraging. It's time for the big news. The big news.
Can we get a drum roll on
There is a new
sorry.
Cannonball record.
It's good. Yeah.
It is one of the most important and significant records, Cannonball records, of all time.
So does that mean it's a new overall?
Yes, it is an overall record. Fastest time across the country.
In with?
Single solo driver, one person,
Okay.
51 days.
Okay. Not the unit of measure I was expecting.
Right? He did it in a 1902 California machine, which is a motorized bicycle.
What? Now today?
Right.
Now?
No, 1903. So, over the past year, a number of us have been researching transcontinental record history, known more as Cannonball, right? A lot of people think that Irwin, quote unquote, Cannonball Baker was the first person to cross the country, set a Cannonball record, and that's why we call it Cannonball. That is why we call it Cannonball, but he was not the first, nor were his first runs the fastest. There was a number of records set prior to him. Up until now, we believe that there was 2 records set in 1903. The first one was 64 days, and the second one was 62 days, both in automobiles, one of them with a dog, which was kind of cool. We have learned in the last week, thanks to research by Jay Roberts, our Gonzo Prius Cannonballer guy, that, whoops, I forgot the guy's name.
George A. Wyman.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, that's Gonzo Prius is actually watching on Instagram.
George Wyman set a record 20 days before the previously known as the first transcontinental crossing on this 1902 California machine motorized bicycle. And he did it 13 days faster than a team in a car, and he was on this motorized bicycle.
That's kind of crazy.
51
Incredible.
days
On
in
a
1903.
bicycle.
That's fantastic.
Yes. According to Jay, one of the teams in the car, they all happened within like a couple months of each other. I guess when it takes a couple months to do the run and there's only 6 months of not winter in a year, then they all kind of overlap. But according to Jay, one of the teams in an automobile started before George Wyman, and George passed them on his little motorized bicycle along the way.
Amazing.
It's like the most Dumb and Dumber record ever. What kind of gas mileage you get on that hog? These early Cannonball records are so cool because it's about pioneering. It's about the American spirit, the American dream. It's about the advent of this type of technology. This stuff happened before there was roads, let alone interstate highways. They were, horse trails and just rutted out. There was washed out bridges. There was, it was primitive as primitive gets.
Well, it's like I'm trying to think. Like this was probably 51. You said 51 days, right?
51 days.
Riding a motorized bike on a dirt road, which sounds awful.
Miserable.
Right.
Right. And how would you even? Probably the same way the automobile did, but it's like, how did he route and by himself? And that 51 days is a long time, but I cannot imagine doing that in the wilds of the U.S. at that point.
Right.
There's no like you said, no highways.
Right. So now I have this compelling desire to buy a 1902 California machine.
How much does one of those run?
It's cool to have the timeline. This guy did it first. We did it last.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else will do it, but as of this moment,
Does a Crawford have one of those in their vault?
I really don't know. I don't know. But I have a feeling after this podcast, vintage California machines are going to skyrocket in value.
You should totally
like
take
the,
the record of a California machine Cannonball away from this dead guy.
Can you imagine Doug? We
I
could
don't
give him
think
like
I
a
want
leather
to.
cap and like goggles. Just
yeah, like
give
one
him
of the ascots or
Yeah.
scarves or whatever.
It's actually been a discussion we've had, because I hold that the old Cannonball records are far more interesting and a bigger accomplishment than the new ones. Like, ours are highly illegal, so like that's the biggest thing now. It's just like all the technology required to not get arrested for speeding. But other than that, it's like, well, we're in German super sedans that are made for the Autobahn. They have massage seats and air conditioning, and like it's a walk in the park. It's a big nothing burger. But these guys like Erwin Cannonball Baker doing it in 53 and a half hours in 1934. Like, okay, they had the Lincoln Highway, so at least it was paved pretty much all the way across the country. But 53 and a half hours.
When we went to...
didn't even have radial tires.
Yeah, we went to... I forget... Gosh, I cannot remember the name of the auto museum we went to on the East Coast. Would be a couple years ago now.
Simeon.
Yeah, we went there and they had one of the cars that he used. And looking at that and looking at like essentially the wooden folding chair that was the seat.
Stutz Bearcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
totally
I cannot
open
imagine.
Car, no top, wooden wheels. That is not a comfortable ride.
No, and like there's no storage. Like you can't take anything with you. And again, even at that point, you run into like, where do you stop? How do you know what you're going to run into? How do you make sure you have food? Like,
well, the interesting thing about the early transcontinental runs is because they were highly competitive, but they were also had the endorsement of car manufacturers. So these car manufacturers would hire Erwin Baker and others to do these runs for them because they were trying to prove the reliability of their product.
Mm-hmm.
So the auto manufacturers would want as much publicity as possible, and of course the drivers would as well. So there would be tons and tons of news. So it was like the modern day gumball rallies. Like at the start and the finish, there was giant crowds of people and reporters and stuff, and they would have escorts into cities across their destination with reporters there and fine meals prepared for them at hotels and stuff. So it's interesting that modern day super luxe rallies that we as Cannonballers kind of make fun of for just being like bougie, parties with drives in between is kind of actually hearkening back to the early transcontinental drives across country. So I mean, Erwin Baker didn't stop at hotels and stay the night. He kept going, but it's reading about these things. There was so much press surrounding these runs. So they had everything they needed because they had support. Now when you do it, nobody wants anything to do with press. Nobody wants to sponsor it. Nobody wants to be associated with it because of the illegality of it or the potential liability if something, God forbid, goes wrong. So it's interesting to see how it's changed and transformed over the years. But it's very, very interesting to research and find out about these early transcontinental records. It's really a really neat part of automotive history.
Heck yeah. That is not what I expected out of this. I didn't, for those of you listening, I did not ask Doug what the heck he was talking about this entire time. I was like, oh, there's a new record. Okay, I guess we'll just learn about it with you guys.
I did not tell Tyler either about the Lion King or the Cannonball record.
This is authentic reaction.
Kip Diggs on YouTube said a little bit ago, there's a Ford dealer near Nashville, and their tagline is, we'll trade for anything that don't eat. So, unfortunately, the line isn't good there, but I guess they'll take just about anything.
That don't eat.
I wonder what they've taken in. There's got to be some crazy stuff. But anyway, that's, yeah, I'm just...
I feel like you can't take in any rear-wheel drive muscle car because they eat tires.
Ew. I'll give that an ew. Devin Ruckus said he's just over here back to the Cannonball record, picturing this guy going bzzz across miles of Oklahoma nothingness, just like going.
It does sound miserable.
There had to be miserable.
Yeah, that's... Clem Fleet on Instagram says he wants to see x-rays of this guy's spine post-trip.
Oh, seriously?
That'd be insane.
Jay said that, based on his reading of the events, that it took this guy months to recover physically.
Don't doubt it, yeah.
After doing this. But I got sidetracked earlier, but something that we as modern cannonballers were thinking about doing is recreating some of the early runs or routes. Like, let's drive the Lincoln Highway across country. Now it's all traffic lights and stuff, but let's take a car from that era and drive the non-highway routes and see if it's possible with all of today's infrastructure to do it faster than they did way back then.
So you're going to take a Stutz Bearcat on what is now the Lincoln Highway? You and Ed Bolian just side by side. Or Arnie is more appropriate. What am I talking about? Just with I just want the leather caps and the big old goggles. That's all.
If somebody would sponsor this, I would do it. I'm not going to go buy a Stutz Bearcat. I'm not going to go do all that crap. But if it's an idea I've had that I think it would be fun to try to recreate, because I honestly think those records were far more difficult and far more amazing than anything we do in the modern day.
But don't you think, like, no matter how you attempt to recreate or to make it authentic with whatever gear that you're actually using, you will never truly be able to even if you take the most back roads as imaginable, right? You will still never fully experience what these guys were experiencing.
No, not at all. Not at all. You can't.
Which is the bummer of it, you know.
But you could at least say, okay, we have different challenges now in terms of traffic and intersections and stoplights and urban sprawl and everything. They had ruts and animals that might try to kill them and
polio. I don't know.
Polio and food starvation.
Something else,
yeah.
Oh man.
Unfriendly people groups and so
unfriendly people.
I mean,
groups.
that was the things they would consider.
Sure,
they would take rifles because they would need to hunt along the way and defend themselves against animals or neighbors, farmers, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was very much uncharted territory in a lot of ways, and I'm sure some of that was glamorized as well because they were writing books and having articles written about them. So there's a little bit of artistic license while they're on the road. But
sure,
it would be cool to try to recreate that in some way. So if anyone would like to loan me and Artie a 1934 Graham Page Model 57, we'll see if we can do it in less than 53 and a half hours, not using any interstate highways.
That would be fascinating. Probably miserable, but you'd have a good story.
Good Wiki video.
Yeah. Great podcast episode. We'll live stream the whole thing.
Yeah. That'd be great. 51-day live stream.
Get all that
Thanks,
engagement.
On a motorcycle. Can I do it holding a selfie stick?
The whole time.
Yeah. And it'll just be all vibrations.
Well, they have the
you get the stabilizer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We can watch your spine give out in real time, slowly.
This trip brought to you by Solon Chiropractic.
And this podcast brought to you by Celebrity Machines. Celebrity Machines is a proud sponsor of Switchcast, and they offer more than 250 different screen-accurate license plates as they've appeared in movies and TV shows like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, The Fast and the Furious, Breaking Bad, and so many more. Celebrity Machines also makes our dealer insert plates as well as our commemorative 2539 plates from the fastest Cannonball run ever. Visit CelebrityMachines.com for more info and use promo code SWITCHCAST to save 25.39% at checkout.
Well, we've had so much fun tonight that we've run out of time to talk about some of the EV news. But in order not to be clickbaity, I'm just going to go through the articles really, really quickly that we're going to discuss next week. So, Mercedes e-Actros electric semi hits 330 miles with full load. Costs $100 to fill up an EV Hummer. Hertz is selling off 20,000 EVs and reducing their EV fleet in favor of gas cars. But, according to Car and Driver, EVs are just getting started. ICBC scraps 2022 Hyundai Ioniq. How do you pronounce a Q at the end of a word? After owners get a $60,000 battery bill, and Lordstown Motors, an electric truck company, is restarting as LandX, even though Lordstown Motors went bankrupt, but it's the same CEO. Odd.
Questions.
So many questions there. So many questions. with that, though, it is time for the props and flops of the week. And I didn't even get to the Scaminator. Oh.
Are we going to squeeze it in, Doug?
We'll save this one for next week.
All right.
We'll save this one for next week. All right. Gotta stick to our schedule. Props and flops are brought to you by Switch Cars.
And Switch Cars is the enthusiasts dealership where we buy, sell, consign, service, and store only cars that we'd like ourselves. Check out our handpicked inventory at switchcars.com. Apparently redesign incoming. Our pick of the week from Switch Cars inventory is what?
It was between two black cars tonight, but just for Tyler, I'm going with the 2004 996 GT3 because this
so much want.
Ugly headlight, Metzger-powered, amazing to drive car is his dream car, that or 993.
Oh, want.
And it has 27,000 miles, clean history, service record since 2005, no range to over revs. That's important for the nerds here. And Tyler could buy it for only $120,000. Well, I give him an employee discount here. But you can buy it for $120K or $119 if you mention discount code SWITCHCAST.
Can I like double up on discounts if I mention SwitchCast and I'm also an employee? Do I just get that? Every little bit helps, Doug.
No, it's like the Ford A plan. You can it's not compatible with other offers.
Is there a SwitchCast A plan?
Yeah, you have to pay more. A flop of the week. Get ready, people. This is a sad one. Usually we like to make fun of dumb things, but this one isn't great. We have made fun of the street takeovers in the past because they are really, really just stupid. For those of you that don't know, it's those videos online that you see with people doing donuts in intersections, and they shut down the intersection, and there's hundreds of people around, and usually people get hit and go flying off of cars, but the people that get hit are like trying to get video of the car like right in front of the car. So it's kind of like the Darwin Awards on social media. But this one ended quite poorly. There was a Dodge Charger, that had a stolen engine in it. No surprise there. I feel like every freaking vehicle at those events are stolen. But there was a 23-year-old daredevil driver. He was doing donuts in his Charger that had been wrapped, or no, Chrysler 300 that had been wrapped with like a U-Haul rental livery. I'm sure U-Haul is not too pleased about this. And he drifted into a parked, not a semi-truck, a Kenworth fuel truck. And the car is like, the passenger side just isn't there. It is now the driver's side. The whole thing is bent. But like there's video right before this, and you see, they like hanging out of their cars. There's people that'll sit in the trunk while they're drifting around. So there's people hanging out of the cars, and 2 people died, 1 is in critical condition, and the driver was like totally fine.
Oh,
it's
man.
This stuff. I mean, PSA, right? Like, I like speeding, whatever you want to call it. I like driving spiritedly. But there's a time and a place, and there's this thing of like know your limits, right? People who drive fast on the highways, do Cannonball, stuff like that, are not this menace to society. It is this crap, this street takeover crap that is giving a terrible name to automotive culture. And I don't even think like this is car culture. This is hood culture. It's people stealing cars, destroying them, having no regard for other people's lives, for anything that's going on. And it's just terrible. I mean, the videos are, I hate to say it, they're a little bit entertaining, the ones where people just like go flying off like rag dolls when they get hit by a car, because they're not unalive. They're just they're just hurt, and they're kind of getting what they deserved. If you try to film a drifting car from 6 inches away and you get run over, then whatever. But when people die, especially when it's passengers, it's just sad. It really is.
Wow, I just looked up photos of this crash, and it is gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And I was thinking, too, about this, right? So I was thinking about, like, oh, okay, everybody's filming, right? You watch these videos, and it's like, it's so dumb because you just see people with their phone in front of their face. They're not even there. They're just filming to try to get a bunch of likes on whatever social media. And it's almost like, well, if you took away social media, you wouldn't have this problem. But that's the same thing that people said about our Cannonball record is, well, if you didn't give them their 15 minutes of fame, nobody would be out doing the Cannonball. And it's like, no, we would do it anyway because we're doing it for our own personal accomplishment. And these street takeover things, not to get political here, but it's not because of social media. It's because their parents aren't around. It's because there's no discipline happening. It's because, like Hank would say, we have a bunch of snowflakes. There's no rule of law. There's no, there's no consideration for other people. It's all about feelings and trigger words and crap like that. And yet you have people just out there destroying property, stealing cars, and running over each other. And, they have nobody telling them that isn't okay. It's a sad state of our country, and it's a really bleak picture in my mind of kind of like the next generation. But sorry, I went real dark there, but this is real. This is real news. This is happening. It's a part of car culture, and it's something that I think needs to just stop. But it's it's a symptom. That's not the root problem. It's just things that people with no morals and no regard are doing. So sorry, that was kind of a long rant, but anyway, prop of the week. I wish I had a better prop to like come back up from this, but this was on theme of some of the EV stuff we were going to talk about. But the Toyota CEO is committing to ICE development, internal combustion engine. So we had talked a little bit before about how they were leaning heavily into hybrids and kind of getting away from investment so much into EVs like some of the other companies are, because the hybrids are a better technology. But according to Car Expert, Toyota is renewing its commitment to piston power thanks to a directive from company chairman and long-term car guy Akio Toyoda. He says, to all those who have made engines up until now, let's continue to make engines. He wants to protect, the employment of the people who are experts in that field, who are working for Toyota's company. And he also says, essentially, like, there's room for multiple different types of ingenuity and types of power in this industry. It's not like there's one direction. There's all ways we can go. There's great energy to be had from a number of different sources. He said it better than I summarized this, because, quote, because we're car lovers, we can build the future. My desire to enjoy cars makes me want to try various technologies. This is something that I'm serious about, end quote. And I think that kind of sums it up in terms of where I'm at on the whole EV thing. It's not that I'm anti-EV. It's that I'm anti-EV mandate. EV is not the only way. Internal combustion is not the only way. There's a number of different technologies out there for the future that all solve problems, and I think there's a lot of different ways we can go.
Absolutely. I can't say any of that better, but just it's refreshing to hear that a leader of a very large automotive corporation is sharing some of the feelings that we have, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, Richard Hammond said it very well. He
Yes.
had brought up some of his quotes in an interview, but
he has some fantastic stuff to say on the subject.
There's a lot of room for a lot of different technology here, as long as we're not closed-minded. So anyway. Thank you all for joining us. Please stick around if you're watching live. We'll have our bonus Q&A, live Q&A. We want to interact with you, so stick around and we'll have tip talk after this. But for the rest of you listening on audio, thank you again for joining us. Again, please like, share, subscribe, all those things. Thank you to my co-host over here, Tyler Sanders, the official supplier of banter. Thank you to our sponsors, Boxcast, Nuts for Sticks, Switch Cars, Celebrity Machines, Parallel Printworks, and Stephen Holm Woodworking. To our producer, Ethan Huffnagel, and our bumper music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream the full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. This episode will be available next Monday in audio format wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. as we look forward to edifying, educating, and entertaining you on the drive of your life.
Alrighty, well, welcome to Tip Talk, everybody. Is it what is this called? Tip Talk or Tip Talk? Okay, that's what I thought.
It's a play on TikTok.
Right, Tip Talk. Because we talk for tips.
Right. Or we give tips through our talking, like automotive tips, answering questions.
So it's a.
But ideally, we'd get financial tips from the questioners. Soon we'll be on Patreon. Season 5. We got big plans.
We're working on it.
I did appreciate really early on, I didn't get a chance to mention it. Jessica and Adam Lawson on YouTube commented right before we started that we must be warming up the engine, don't want to bore score it. So I'm glad that is still sticking around.
So
as we
got a camera and we're scoping lots and lots of cars to build our own database.
Are you going to scope your own? No, okay, nerdy question. Are you scoping from spark plug in or oil pan in?
Spark plug in.
Technically, you're supposed to scan from the oil pan in because it starts at the bottom of the cylinder first.
Oh, Doug,
it's all
retort.
You can see the lines all the way down.
I agree. I'm
We're rotating the piston down as far as it'll go.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fine.
Tell him why he's wrong. No. Don't
Well,
bite your tongue.
Look, I like to bring the Renlist insanity here sometimes.
We're
because
not
it's
doing an oil change just to see if there's bore score.
Not just that, you'd have to reseal the pan and everything
response.
else.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's insane.
Anyway, it's all data, right? There's so much data out there from other people. So we are compiling our own data set of low miles, high miles, 3.6, 3.4, 3.8. Where was it driven? Where was it owned? All these different things. Mine is going to be the acid test, right? It's been owned since new in a winter climate, driven all year round. It's experienced excessive idling. I've gotten the oil temperature up to 250 degrees. Everything you're not supposed to do, but not everything, because I get it fully up to temperature before I get to work, and I run the thing out, and the one thing that you're supposed to do. So I drive it hard. So that may be the saving grace, but I'm really genuinely curious.
No, I think this is a worthwhile with as many of these engines as you guys see.
Right.
I think that's very worthwhile. I did have mine done from Sparkplug. I didn't specifically ask for the oil pan thing, and it was fine. And that was at 98, 99,000 miles.
Right.
And they had a clean bill of health. So.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Now, what will you do if you find out that yours is scored?
Keep driving it and just make a preemptive appointment with Jake Raby to have a 4-liter build done.
Heck yeah.
Because that car would be amazing with a 4-liter.
Oh, I don't want to pay for it, but the thought of, so my dream is is a green 996 GT3. The amount I could spend a lot less money by getting a 4-liter build from him and just tuning my car and making it new-ish.
Sure.
And it's tempting. You can wait a year and a half.
Well, on that note, questions. Sorry, guys.
There's a super chat on YouTube, it looks like.
There is. When did this happen? Just now. Oh, my goodness.
Little lines inside our cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremiah Johnson on YouTube, thank you very much. You listen all the time. I love to see you in chat every week. Doug, what type of car would you use for a first date?
Toyota Corolla. Preferably a rusty one. I'd actually borrow Q's Toyota Corolla. Isn't yours Arabic gold? Yep. And Q is represented behind me live here for those of you who can see. It's not just a fictional character. He's there and there, behind me and in front of me. No, I always said, how do I say this without being gauche?
Doug's about to put his foot in his mouth, Ethan. Are you ready
No,
to clip this?
I don't want to be misogynistic either. I'm. These are not things I think. These are what?
I don't know.
No, there is a saying out there that I don't think this is misogyny. Oh, okay. We're going to go a number of different ways. There is a saying out there that's directed at men who have fancy cars who think that their money or their fast car makes them attractive to women, which is a problem in and of itself. So let's out the guys here first.
Wait, it doesn't?
But then there's the money grubbing women, the gold diggers, who this saying is directed at, and they say women don't see a Ferrari, they see their future wrapped in shiny red paint. So
I like it.
Along those lines, and again, we're not talking about car guys here in general, and we're not talking about women in general. We're talking about the car guys who are shallow and trying to use their money or their car, or women who are shallow and just want a rich guy, right? The stereotypes that we make fun of. So in order to like weed out a potential gold digger, as a car guy, as a fairly successful person, or like even as a car guy, right? If you drive a sweet car, most of us are batting above our pay grade, right? In the cars we drive. People think we're rich because we have sweet cars, but in reality, we're poor because we have sweet cars, right? We spend all our money on that car. It's not like we have a giant mansion and a ski chalet and all this stuff behind the car. We just have the car. So in order to not give the wrong impression and to kind of like weed out whether or not a girl's interested in me for the money or not, or the perceived money, I would drive a complete beater on a first date. It was a really long-winded answer, but I've thought this out extensively.
No, I like that because I was curious at what your reasoning was, but I think it also goes to, or we should also acknowledge that like most girls don't care. Other than the potential, if it is their prerogative to try to get somebody with money, most of them don't care. My girlfriend, actually, we initially encountered each other on a dating app, and she swiped left at first because I was a car guy.
Valid.
Which is like, she's like, nope,
Smart
don't want to
girl.
deal with it. And I was like, ooh. We met each other in other rounds.
Get back?
We met each other we ended up meeting each other in real life through some mutual situations, and it turned out that it didn't matter. But at first she was
she's
like, nope.
Oh no, you have a moose on your shirt. You're not a car guy. Actually, this is a Volvo nerd.
It's a prancing moose. It looks like the Ferrari logo, but it's a moose. Yeah, I did have to explain that. She did not think it was as funny as I think it is.
I don't think it's as funny as Volvo people do either. So.
I love it.
Yeah, no, listen, again, be who you are. Like, I wouldn't, if you're a car guy and you want to take your nice car, take your nice car. Don't try to impress a girl with a nicer car. That's just dumb. But yeah, I would probably purposefully, if I was dating, thankfully I'm not, I would take a janky car and just like, I want her to like me for me, and I want to get to know her for her, not whatever the pretensions are because of a car perception of net worth or something like that.
For sure. Jeremiah Johnson says solid advice. I don't know where they're picking up on YouTube. Maybe, hopefully, it doesn't change his mind.
$20 answer. Donate less if you want a shorter answer.
The ones on TikTok, I think we can get through pretty quickly here. Have you acknowledged that the Honda Element slaps yet?
The Element, not the Ridgeline. I never said the Element wasn't cool.
But does it slap?
I don't know what slap or drip or any of these millennial sayings mean. Or Gen Z or whatever those sayings are.
No.
Slap is a positive thing.
Slap is a good thing.
It's like, this slaps.
Figured, context clues that it was positive connotation, but
unless you're talking about your 996 or 997 motor, then it's a bad thing. But
yeah, Porsche 996s slap.
Ooh, they sure do.
That piston slap.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I've got another super chat on YouTube, actually.
Ah.
This is from Miles Kolar. Sorry for mispronouncing
Not
that.
Miles Collier.
What is
I
the
don't want to
best
answer.
sounding cheap car?
What is the best sounding
Cheap car.
car?
Ooh.
Define cheap, but I think this far outweighs our definition of cheap because it is by far the best sounding. Well, two. One is Corvette C5 with headers and an exhaust, but like a 129 era. I don't remember what the S classes were called, the internal model designations, but like a 90s, early 2000s V12 Mercedes with equal length headers, because it's the same engine they used in the first Pagani Zonda. Just the Pagani Zonda had an amazing exhaust. So there's people that have put equal length headers on these early Mercedes V12s, and they sound absolutely mental. Now, I think the headers alone are like $5,000, and
Well,
you
like,
could
are those
probably
actually
pick up
cheap?
a crappy mid-90s Mercedes V12 for about the same, and then put $20,000 in maintenance into it. So it's not quote unquote cheap, but the if we're on a relative scale of cheap versus amazing sound, like that far outweighs anything else you could possibly get anywhere near that money in terms of sound.
I think that is a perfect answer to that question from you, because it's not typical. It's like obscure and kind of skirting the rules, but it still works.
I've wanted to do it to multiple Mercedes V12s that have crossed my path, but I'm just like, the rest of the car is so that I'm like, it's not sporty enough.
Yeah, you need a Ugh.
Okay, we can take it back to Instagram here. Doug, thoughts on G-Wagens? we did a TikTok
Really?
on this.
I did a
didn't we?
TikTok
Yeah.
completely demolishing G-Wagons. Expensive box.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should buy a Honda Element instead of a G-Wagon. It's a reliable, cheap box.
There you go.
It's slightly smaller, but probably has the same cargo area.
Did Tyler get a haircut yet? We got that one.
I have not. I've got one
We
scheduled
need more
for
super chats.
Oh yeah, we can start building up the Tyler's haircut fund.
Tyler
haircut and the Hank jacket fund.
If you had $100,000 total to spend on 2 used cars, what would be your 2-car solution?
Tyler, I want you to answer this one
Oh, hold on. I thought this
because
was for Doug.
I feel like he lives this.
So what?
If
Can
you had
recap for me?
$100K total to spend on 2 used cars, what would be your 2-car solution?
So for context, Tyler has a Porsche 996, a 968, and a Volvo
Combi wagon.
V50R.
It's not technically an R.
Okay,
it's
fine.
like an
Whatever.
appearance package.
Volvo nerd crap from the guy with the Prancing Moose T-shirt. Okay, so he has roundabout close to 100K in 3 cars. So if you had to dump those and get 2 cars, what would it be?
I would probably do I could do a 993, and then
Honda Element.
I think I could still get like a newish, I think 2018 plus Volvo V60. Those are starting to come down in price quite a lot. I think that I could squeak in under 100K to get like a 993 that I really like, manual, preferably in green, although that might be pushing it depending on the market, and like spend a little bit on a wagon.
Gotcha.
I love my wagons. But if this was like 2
So
cars,
the answer to that person's question is a bad Porsche and a good Volvo.
the 993 is a bad Porsche? What?
Well, you'd have to get a bad example to make that work.
Dude, the maintenance doesn't count, Doug. That wasn't included in this.
You just have to acquire the car for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good. I mean, I think that's just about everybody's solution is some type of sports car and some type of daily driver.
Yeah, because
/ practical car.
as much as I would like to daily a sports car year round, it's just not. It's not as enjoyable, I think. Like, because we've talked before about how, especially something as old as a 993, you leave that thing, all the heat's gone out of it in 5 minutes. So it's just like kind of annoying to drive in the wintertime. Possible,
Right.
physically possible. Put some winter tires on it, sure. But it's just, you kind of want something that can eat up highway miles and you can drive in the wintertime with heated seats. And am I just getting old?
We all are.
Ugh. But no, that's still what I do. I love Volvo wagons.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah. I'd buy a
What are you
Corvette C5 or another Corvette C5.
You still have like what, $70,000 left, Doug? What else are you gonna do?
The Corvette C6 ZR1 and like a Chevy Trailblazer SS for the winter is a very good like Hank answer.
It'd honestly be pretty sick.
$100,000. Like that wouldn't be the worst combination of cars. SSR for the winter? No, it's a pickup truck with a retractable hardtop. No, all the squeaks and rattles when that retractable hardtop gets ice in it. That would be miserable. No.
Peanut Gallery is cackling at their terrible idea back there.
Wait, here we go. Eric Perther.
Chevy SS. Or like a Pontiac G8. That would be it. Corvette C6 ZR1 and Pontiac G8. Yeah. That would be Hank's 2-car solution for $100,000.
Eric Perther has twins driving in 6 months and wants to know what to get them for their
His
first
twins
cars.
Driving, not arriving.
Do they drive at the same time or
His
separately?
twins driving. So I'm guessing he has children of the
it's
same
easy.
age.
You get him one of the student driver cars because it has a steering and brakes on both sides so that the twins can drive. Or a tandem bicycle.
They can do the pilot thing and be like, your control, and like back away from the steering wheel. My control.
I like that.
It promotes teamwork.
Or even better, I mean, you could go crazy. Like in the Mr. Bean movie where they have the car on top of the car and the one up here does the steering and down here does the brakes.
They did that on Top Gear once too.
Yes. They recently did it for the Freedom Factory. They had a race where they welded 2 cars together on top of each other, and the person on top does steering and the person on the bottom does throttle and brakes. So you can teach your twins teamwork. Have to work together to
There's endless
make it somewhere
opportunities here.
alive.
Okay, in all seriousness, though.
We are serious.
What should these Okay, that's what
He
they're going to do.
expected a
They're
serious
gonna-
answer from this show.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think we do good consumer advice here. We try sometimes, but this is not where I'd go.
Well,
Hank says, I had to buy my own car in high school. Let them friggin' work and earn their money. Shouldn't buy them a car. You're raising friggin' snowflakes.
uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways.
Well, this isn't so much a car question, which we can end on this maybe. What is a better solution for? Huh? What is a?
You're the one reading it,
Yeah,
Ethan.
I know, man. I got all tripped up here.
Glasses
I took
is a better solution for
I took a screenshot of a phone instead of just reading it off the phone. This boomer Ethan coming out. What is a better solution for charging EVs at apartment complexes? Add it into the cost of rent or access only for the tenants?
No, just get a longer parking space and get a trailer with a generator on it.
Consumer advice here for you at Switchcast. Bah.
I wouldn't live in an apartment with an EV yeah.
No.
Fire hazard.
Hey, that's a good
Not
point
for
there.
me.
Yeah. Well,
Seriously.
This is a preview for next week. Well, I don't think we have any fires to talk
No.
about, but EVs in general.
just random market news. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll see you all next week.